Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Friday, May the 27th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly wrap up. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results might differ from mine. So, we're at the last full trading week of the month. Take a quick peek at the monthly chart. You can see that the month has actually turned green. We're green right now. We're 33 pips above the monthly open at 126.09. 454 pips off the low, 57 off the high. And when we look at the week, all the opening gaps have filled. We are way above the pivot, 199 pips at the moment. Never even came close to the pivot, so we're going to have a missed pivot there. But you can see 140 pips over the weekly open, 57 off the high. When you drill down to the daily, you can see we put in that high today. We definitely got out of that opening range here for the month. Once again today, we opened within it. We shot above it. Now we're back. We're still above it by the opening range for the month, 13 pips, and for the week, 9 pips. So you can see how those opening ranges pretty much just lined right up this week. 917 pips, 917 below the yearly open. You can see 454 off of that yearly low. Inside bar traders were rewarded again today. If you took that trigger when price was below 25.90, it shot way up. Actually, I have to double check that. Let me see. Did that happen before? Let's see. The first time. What's the previous day? So here at the beginning, there was an opportunity, possibly, but that usually you have a crazy range here. It shot up, came back down in that inside bar range, but then it definitely made a nice 50, 60 pip move to the upside. So you could have enjoyed a lot of that inside bar action. And as I said, this week we had a lot of daily inside bars and weekly inside bars. 87 pips on the day. Got a couple of pairs over 200 and 4 over 100. Buy zone traders were rewarded here. If you took that short, you probably got your fingers burned. Then again, if you took the short off of the daily open, you could have actually made a profit there. But if you look where the weekly open is, you know, between the daily and the weekly open, I like to consider that like the no trade zone. You know, you want to trade out of that zone. You don't want to be in it. So here, that's telling you want to either go long here or short down here. You don't want a lot of trading action in here, and if you're in and out quick, because you just don't know. You don't really have a clue what's going to happen. You're getting cross signals. You'd be short on the daily, but long on the weekly, signals crossed. The red rats were rewarded once, twice, green rats, maybe a couple of times, depending if you jumped in here at the 00. In fact, I think I did get in on one of these. I don't remember which one it was. Pivot trading plan. It said price near pivot, bias is long. That was definitely a good signal there. Bambino flex indicator indicated a long. So there you have it. So we took out today's pivot, but we missed a week. And so far we've missed a month. And so far we've missed it by 51 pips off of that high, but We've got 2 days next week. I do believe Monday's not going to be much of a trading day, if I'm not mistaken. That's Memorial Day. But who knows what could happen during the Monday and then the Tuesday session. The upper wick zone from the previous day's candle definitely, once again, provided some nice trades in and out of the wick zone. Once again, 74% of the time, it's going to be outside of that wick zone when it closes. So it's either going to be outside the upper or lower. And when it says outside, it means it's not within one of them. So definitely pips to be had. So let's take a quick look at the weekly range. Only 198 pips, so you can see the past 4 weeks we're all higher in the pip count there on the range. So we're at the 33 percentile right now. High minus previous high, 142 at the 91. So anybody taking that previous week's breakout was rewarded. Previous low minus low did not happen. High minus the close right now, 57. Close minus low, 140 on the week. So that's saying you rat zone traders, if you took the weekly rat zone, you were rewarded. Weekly buy zone, high minus open, 197. You were rewarded. Open minus low, you never even got a signal. So that's where it stands. Yesterday's range on the daily was only 69 pips. Today, 87. You can see we had a couple of days here under 100, and the 3 previous days were all over 100, but you can see how range was decreasing. The Walmart lines for the past, say, 7 or 8 hours definitely provided some nice trades. Walmart says he doesn't use the Walmart lines as much because the market's changed. But that being said, you can still see how there was money to be made even on a day where we have a kind of a compressed range. Less than 100 pips. But if you just look at these bars, so let's see, 9 bars ago, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we had an open right at 20, or just above 20. If that short would have paid, the next short would have paid at the Walmart line. This short would have paid right here at 2,600. Then the long right there, that short would not have paid. But then you could have made it up going long here, going long here, going long here, and then turn around short, another short, and another short. And then we're right to this hour where I guess possibly we did have a long trigger. But we're in the latter stages of the trading day here on a Friday that's a holiday weekend, so I don't think there's going to be too much action. And this is past time where we trade the Walmart lines anyway. So, part of methods is finding out what time it works best. You don't want to go fishing when the fish aren't eating. So you don't want to go trading when the traders aren't trading, right? So you can see here, even though this past hour, there really wasn't much here, but you can still take a couple of pips. If you're diligent, you're not too greedy, and there was a low triggered here. There was pips to be had, a handful or two. And one of the things, we've been talking about risk, and I've mentioned before that when you have a trade on, that's a risk, because anything could happen. I mean, you could get a spike against you and wipe you out in the blink of an eye. I've seen it happen. I've been on the wrong side of a few of them spikes. I've been on the right side of a few of those spikes. So it's just one thing to note. And you have to see what price is doing, because if you want to try and go for big pips, but price is, kind of range bound, it's better just to take the 2 or 3. And then hopefully you get lucky. So for example, here, if you would have taken a short somewhere in this area, in fact, I think I did take a short somewhere in this area, and I popped out for a few pips, and of course I kicked myself because there was more to be had. The problem that I found out is when your emotions start to affect your trading, and let me explain how that can happen. If you're looking, let's see, which chart? No, let's stick with this chart. If you're looking here, and let's just say you're playing off of the semaphores, what can happen is you can get in a trade like right here. Say you saw what happened, and then you took the trade right where price broke the bottom of that candle, and it would have paid off maybe 8 pips right here. But you're thinking, oh no, I want more. And then all of a sudden it zooms back against you. So now you're stuck, because in fact that's what happened to me. And then, because I was thinking, hey, I want that payoff. I'm looking at this return bar right here. And then it did this. I go, okay, well, there's another return bar. So what I did was, I think I shorted again up here, came down, hit that return bar, and I believe I just punched out of the trade. It went back up, and then it just dropped like a rock. And by that time, I was, like I said, kind of emotional, thinking, dang it, I should have done this. And instead of just focusing on the chart and letting the past go, you get emotional, and you're just so glad to get out of that stuck trade with a profit. You leave all this on the table. Or as Walmart would say, it wasn't on the table at the time, but hey, they were still bringing food from the back and putting it on the table, but you had already picked up your crumb and you left. And there was more to be had. And once you leave the door, man, they're not letting you back in for a while. And that's just what happens sometimes. So, that's part of brain management, where once you put that trade on, it's about the money. It's not about your trading setup. And you wait for your signal sometime, and sometimes you just have to realize that price is going to oscillate. It's going to oscillate against you. But, if you have your stop loss placed up here, you'll see some negative numbers, but it didn't threaten your stop loss. And if you really believe in your own press releases, and that's what I always tell myself, I'm believing my own press releases, you wait for it to take out that return bar. And it's just like here, price came down. I'm looking, this is a return bar. You get long, and if you can, you wait for price to take out that return bar, which it did. But it's really tough when you've got, money on the line, and the more money, sometimes the tougher it is. When you're up, say, 10% for the day, and then you get in the trade and now you're down 2% for the day, it could be, it can definitely get emotional if you allow it to. What you really have to do is just put the stop losses in. And some people would say, well, why did you let it do it? Well, because I was believing it was going to come to a certain level, and it didn't. But it takes time. And sometimes you just have to let price do what it's going to do. And if it stops you out, well, hey, you made that agreement when you put the stop loss on. You made the agreement with the market. If you go here, I'm done. And then you say, but market, if you smile upon me and it comes down to here, I'm going to be really happy. But then again, it dropped another 20 pips, and be like kicking myself again. So, fellow traders, that wraps up the weekly report here. I hope you have a fun and safe weekend out there. Please be careful. A lot of crazy drivers, especially if you're here in the US of A. And then when you come back to your trading platform next week, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne, over and out. Oh, and by the way, I guess somebody posted my dashboard out on some forum, but they somehow screwed up the code. Somebody asked me to fix it. Please don't post my code.